Welcome to Singles Club. Once again, I'm Ed, and I'm joined by Alex.
Hey guys.
So, this time, we're going to be talking about Fall Out Boy, their new song, Young and Menace, from their upcoming LP, Mania. Fall Out Boy, for those who don't know, have been around for a fair number of years now. I think it's fair to say that they're past the height of their popularity at this point, but they're still releasing music with reasonable sales, reasonable commercial success. I personally enjoy some of their earlier music a lot more than the general consensus amongst music nerds like ourselves, if it's okay for me to call you a music nerd, Alex.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm used to it by now.
The album Infinity on High, I actually like a lot, but I've not heard much recent Fall Out Boy stuff. I mean, I know a few people who are bigger fans of them than I am, for sure, and they've said they've sort of dropped off in recent years with their last couple of records.
Yeah.
But purely based on what I'd seen people say about this new single, I've seen it be called the Room of singles.
No, it's not the Room of Singles because it's not enjoyable in any sense.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start with this song. It's this awful, hobbling smorgasbord of outdated, cringe-inducing musical ideas that are just rammed together like a child playing with, like, wrestling figurines. I feel like this song is sort of a stumbling Frankenstein monster that's begging to be euthanized with its last dying breaths. I mean, where do we even begin with this song? It's just awful.
Oh, God, this song. Well, I've had no prior experience with Fall Out Boy aside from the really well-known big hits. Here's the thing, like you say, people have said they've not been good for a while. Like, I'm aware of their last two kind of biggest hits from the last two albums. My songs Know What You Did in the Dark, Light 'Em Up, and Uma Thurman. Those aren't really good songs, so I wasn't expecting anything better from this. But what I got was
something worse.
Something so much worse, indeed. And, I mean, this is the first time I've actively listened to a song of theirs, though, and it sucks big time, to say the least. But the thing is, even though it's clearly a bad entry in their discography, I'm not offended by it, because I've got nothing to be offended by, specifically. That doesn't mean I like it in any sense, it's just I don't have any prior connection with the band to be not enjoying it beyond saying, oh, that's a really bad song. Like, I'm sure since you enjoy an album by them that you have some, not offence to what you were expecting, but it is beyond belief what you were expecting, probably, compared to what I thought.
I mean, I've heard bits of their last few albums. I heard the song American Beauty / American Psycho, which was just a fucking joke of a song. I didn't hear Uma Thurman. I didn't hear any of those tracks that you mentioned.
Right.
This is just music I've heard in passing. I've never gone out of my way to listen to recent Fall Out Boy. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I'm not putting it down for anyone who might think I'm putting it down. I'm just saying I've not gone out of my way to listen to any of it. That being said, going out of my way to listen to this, given that I enjoy some of their older stuff, like you say, you'd expect that maybe I'd be very disappointed with this. Conversely, I went into this expecting it to be terrible.
Okay, right.
But even having said that, I was blown away by this song. I was blown away by how terrible it was. Nothing about this song works. Nothing melds together. And we're just using blanket terms right now, so let's actually go into detail about this track.
So yes, this song is extremely bad, but the first verse is like the only part of the song where you could conceivably see it almost being good, because there's a lot of vocal buttering up the whole way through, a lot of vocal doctoring, a lot of vocal effects. I'm not used to that. It was a bit weird hearing it from a band that only 2 albums ago made an album called Save Rock and Roll. This is as far removed from rock and roll as you can get for a band, but the verse wasn't too bad.
This is some EDM trash, dude.
I don't even think it's EDM. I think it's like going back to 2012 bro step era, like before EDM as we know it existed. Honestly, I
yeah,
it's that dated and bad.
The bro step drop? and this really is saying something, is one of the cringiest I've ever heard in my life. Those outrageous, unreadable pitch-shifted vocals were the combination of these elements was so difficult for me to process on initial listen, and it still is, even after making sure I know how I feel about this track by listening basically against my will a number of times, even though this is my show and I'm the one who decides that we reviewed this, but mentally against my will.
Thanks for that, mate.
Yeah, thanks, me, for putting me through this.
Yeah.
But what I can say with complete certainty is that this is just the cringiest part of any song I've heard in a long time. I haven't cringed this hard since I'm With Her by Latigro dropped, and I had to sit through that garbage.
For me, the last cringiest thing I've heard was probably Bingo by Jacob Sartorius.
Oh, Jesus. I've blanked that out of my mind. Please stop talking about that. I don't want to hear about that shit. You mentioned the verse. The verse isn't the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people defend it. I don't think it's worth defending by any means.
It's not worth defending, but it's a world apart from the chorus.
Yeah, if you go into this track expecting the worst thing ever, you're not necessarily going to get it straight away.
No.
It takes time to give you what you expect, which, when the chorus drops, holy shit, it's terrible. And it really takes the cake, the vomit cake, in this case.
The vomit cake?
Yeah, you know. It can't be a tasty cake, can it? Because it's just terrible. The vocals are bellowy and grating as hell. They sound so far removed from the style of this track that, like I say, nothing melds together. There's almost no point me going into detail about the aspects of this song that I think don't work, because none of it works. None of it.
I'm just brain dead thinking about this song.
Yep, it's making me lose IQ, so I think we should probably wrap this up. But, I mean, do you have anything else to say about it, Alex?
Okay, well, it was mainly to do with the verse again, because I was only part before my brain decided to try and kill itself when the chorus came on. That's like the only part I have really concise, clear notes that aren't just kill me, stop this song, please.
Yeah, I just wrote the F word about 57 times in my notes. I'm just basically ranting at this point.
I have to say, double tracking vocals, as is used for all of the vocals here, clearly, it's so weird. Like, it doesn't work. It feels like they're edited slightly apart, or jarringly. Like, they're in both the mono and the stereo is a different vocal, time-shifted slightly apart from each other during the verses. And bear in mind, this is the most, not good, not in any way is it good, but most bearable part of the song. Is still extremely flawed and extremely bad.
I think the very worst part is certainly the pitch shifting on the vocals in the chorus, man. And the way that the vocals are spaced apart. It's like you couldn't even sing along to this shit if you tried.
I know.
The point of a hook is to sort of stick with you in a certain way. I'm not saying you necessarily have to be able to sing along to it, but a good hook, this is not. That's something we can say with total certainty. And a good song, this is not. This is one of the worst songs of 2017 so far. All that being said, in terms of a recommendation, despite all we've said about this track, I wouldn't be against suggesting that you listen to this new Fall Out Boy single, if only to indulge in a little bit of musical schlock for your own amusement.
I would be against recommending people this. Literally, the chorus is like a toxic minefield in my mind. It's as if, like, you get these, like, psychological thriller films where when they get close to whatever event triggered their, insanity, they, like, break down. It's like, whenever I try to figure out the chorus, my body's like, no, don't go there, or, your body will break down. It's not even far away from that. That's how toxic the chorus is to me. I'm a health and safety conscious guy, and for the sake of our potential viewers, even though it would give more context to what we're saying, I would not wish this on anyone. I mean, yeah, I get what you mean. It is almost so bad it's good on an oral sense, but man, it is like a black spot in my musical hemisphere of my brain. No, just no, I hate this fucking song.
I hate it too, but I would rather listen to this than Jacob Sartorius Bingo. I'm just gonna say that.
I've not heard that in about 3 months, so yeah, I don't know. It didn't grate me as much as this.
This track is very grating. Grating is the best way to put it. I'm sure it's grating even for their most diehard of fans. I mean, maybe I'm wrong there, maybe I'm not. But nothing about this track works beyond the unintentional comedy factor. And like I said before, in a way, I was completely blown away by it. And I think we should just stop talking about this before we have a total shutdown in our brains, because we've got more episodes to record, man.
We do, and I don't want to compromise those.
We're not just going to end this series with our sudden deaths. So I guess all I've got to say is thanks Fall Out Boy for being terrible. Thanks Alex for joining me once again.
No problem. What is a problem with this song?
And see you guys next time.
Bye.